Hello and welcome to Nagaland TV. This is your anchor Rovinyo Lama and you're watching Nltv News Now. Now headlines. Russia troops seize control of Kherson, making it the first major city in Ukraine to be taken by Moscow as it continues to wage its war on Kyiv for an 8th straight day. Ukraine confirmed Russia forces now in control of Kherson and impose a curfew on residents. India abstained from voting during emergency session on resolution deploring Russia's aggression against Ukraine in United Nations General Assembly, the third abstention by India on resolution on the escalating crisis between Moscow and Kyiv. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Russia President Vladimir Putin over the ongoing Ukraine crisis instilled by Russia. Two leaders review Ukraine situation and discuss about the safe evacuation of Indians from conflict areas. Ukraine expresses grief over the death of Navin Shikharapan Gyana Godar, Indian student who died in a Russia shelling in Kharkiv while addressing UNGA. Ukraine's permanent representative Sergei Kislistia states that Ukraine deeply regrets the killing and offers their deepest sympathy to India and the relatives of the victims. Uttar Pradesh records 21.79% voters turnout till 11 a.m. as the sixth and second last phase of the 2022 Assembly election underway. 57 seats in eastern UP spread across 10 districts have gone to poll on Thursday. Now I shall read the news in details. The Russian troops have seized control of Kherson, making it the first major city in Ukraine to be taken by Moscow as it continued to wage its war on Kyiv for a 7th straight day. Notably, in a Facebook post, Mayor Igor Kolikev said that Russian forces were now in control of Kherson and that the troops had forced their way into the city council building and imposed a curfew on residents. Kolikev urged Russian soldiers not to shoot at civilians, saying there were no Ukrainian forces in the city, which is located on the bank of the Dnieper River and has a population of over 280,000 people. He further called on residents to follow conditions set by Russian forces in order to keep the Ukrainian flags flying. The condition includes observing a strict curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., only going out in groups of 2 at most, allowing only cars carrying food, medicine and other supplies to enter Kherson, and driving at a minimum speed. India on Wednesday abstained on a UN General Assembly resolution deploring Russia's aggression against Ukraine. This is the third abstention by India on resolution on the escalating crisis between Moscow and Kyiv. The 193-member General Assembly voted to reaffirm its commitment to the sovereignty, independence, unity and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. The resolution was adopted with 141 votes in favor, 5 member states voting against and 35 abstention. The resolution condemns Russia's readiness of its nuclear forces and called them to abide by its international obligation. The resolution has urged for immediate peaceful resolution through political dialogues, negotiation, mediation, and other peaceful means. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin on March 2 on phone over the ongoing Ukraine crisis instilled by Russia. According to reports, the two leaders reviewed the situation in Ukraine, especially in Kharkiv. Notably, many Indian students were stuck in Kharkiv. Therefore, the two leaders discussed about the safe evacuation of Indians from conflict areas. Ukraine has offered condolences and grief over the death of Navin Shekharappan, the 20-year-old medical student who died in a Russian shelling in Kharkiv on March 1. While addressing the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday, Ukraine Permanent Representative Sergei Kislytsya stated that Ukraine deeply regrets the killing of the student from India in Kharkiv and offered their deepest sympathies to Indian and the relatives of the victim. In his address at the UN General Assembly Emergency Special Session on Russia invasion of Ukraine, the ambassador furthermore recited the list of atrocities committed by the Russian forces against the Ukrainians. He cited how the major cities of Ukraine, Kiev, Kharkiv, Mariupol, Melitopol and others sustained heavy shelling, killing dozens of people, especially children. The ambassador also thanked the member states for helping Ukrainians in their battle and who accepted Ukrainian refugees, mostly women and children.
Widespread use. Just yesterday, Kiev, Kharkiv, Zhytomyr, Mariupol, Melitopol and many other cities and towns sustained heavy shellings that killed dozens of innocents, including children. Ukraine deeply regrets that a student from India has become a victim of this shelling by the Russian armed forces in Kharkiv. We offer our deepest sympathies to India and the relatives of the victim. A Chinese citizen was also injured in another Ukrainian city because of Russia's deadly attacks. The Ukrainian and foreign citizens have become hostages of the Russian armed aggression against Ukraine.
The Indian government on Thursday denied reports of Indian students being held as hostages in Ukraine, stating that it is the constant touch with Indian nationals. The Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that no reports have been received of any hostage situation regarding any student. He further said that supports have been requested to the Ukrainian authorities to arrange special train for taking the student out from Kharkiv and neighboring areas to western part of the country. Indians have been urged to leave Kharkiv and move to 3 nearby places even on foot as Russian invasion entered its 8th day. Around 50 students out of over 230 students of 3 northeastern states, Assam, Tripura and Meghalaya, who were stranded in war-ravaged Ukraine, have returned to India so far. Assam Chief Secretary Jishnu Baura has directed the district administration to reach out to parents of students stranded in Ukraine. Meanwhile, an official in Guwahati said that the Assam government so far prepared a list of 160 such students and the process of evacuating them has been going on in coordination with the External Affairs Ministry. The government is trying to bring back Indians stranded in war-torn Ukraine by asking them to cross into neighboring countries from where they are flown back by special aircraft to the country. Minister of State for Defense Ajay Bhatt said that evacuation operation Ganga is progressing successfully with 4 union ministers taking care of every aspect of the operation in different neighboring countries of Ukraine. MOA's Bhatt welcomed nationals arriving from Indian Air Force aircraft at Hindon Air Base near Delhi and assures that everything is being monitored by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself. 9 flights have taken off from Hungary, Romania, Slovakia and Poland, and 6 more are expected to depart shortly. That said, more than 3,000 Indians will be back home shortly.
मैं सारे बच्चों के स्वागत के लिए यहाँ पर आया हूँ। एक एक बच्चे का हम ख्याल रख रहे हैं, चाहे दवाई हो, चाहे भोजन हो, और वहाँ पर भी जो यूक्रेन की सीमाओं पर पहुँच गए हैं, वहाँ पर भी हमारे माननीय 4 मंत्रीगण हैं जो एक एक चीज़ को देख रहे हैं। लगातार हमारे एयरफोर्स के जहाज जा रहे हैं, हमारे सिविल एविएशन के जहाज हैं। अभी तक यहाँ पर हमारे हिंडन में रोमानिया से, हंगरी से, पोलैंड से और फिर रोमानिया से 2 फ्लाइट रोमानिया से, 1 हंगरी से, 1 पोलैंड से आई है और तुरंत 1 घंटे के बाद हमारे जहाज यहाँ से अभी लौट रहे हैं, सारे साजो सामान के साथ। सब आवश्यक चीजें हम वहाँ ले जा रहे हैं। 200 पहली फ्लाइट में, 210 दूसरी फ्लाइट में, 208 तीसरी में और 180 इस वाली फ्लाइट में आए हैं। इस तरह से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो हमारा ऑपरेशन गंगा अभियान चलाया है वो बिल्कुल सफल हो रहा है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का पूरा देश आभारी है कि उन्होंने एक अभिभावक की तरह से सबकी चिंता की है। प्रभु उनको सतायु बनाए। मैं इतना ही आपसे कहता हूं कि हर चीज की बंदोबस्त माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हो रही है। किसी चीज की, किसी वस्तु की कमी नहीं होने दी जा रही है। ऐसे स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर हैं और स्वयं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी।
A consultative meeting to discuss on Nagaland Liquor Total Prohibition Act 1989, ULB election, ASFA and Naga peace process has been convened on March 9 by Home Commissioner of Nagaland, Abhijit Sinha. The Commissioner has issued a press notification on March 2 calling the Legislative Assembly, church bodies, Eastern Nagaland People Organization, Central Nagaland Tribe Council, Tenime People Organization, Naga Student Federation, Eastern Nagaland Student Federation, Naga Mother Association and Eastern Nagaland Women Organization to participate in the consultative meeting on March 9. Notably, the meeting will be held at the Chief Minister's Residential Complex, Kohima. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister, Deputy CM, speakers and other senior officials will also be present in the meeting. Federation of Nagaland State Engineering Service Association will be celebrating World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development under the theme Build Back Wiser Engineer the Future on Friday. Notably, the program will be held at Zaful Hotel in Kohima from 11 a.m. onwards. It may be mentioned that during the program, Advisor IT and Communication, Science and Technology and NRE, Malu Mokikont will grace as a special guest, while Fonsesa Vice President ER Ningumyo Kire will be the chairperson of the program. On the occasion of World Wildlife Day on Thursday, Higher Education and Tribal Affairs Minister Temjan Imna along with Power Department Advisor Tovihoto Ayomi and Tourism, Art and Culture Advisor H. Kehovi Yaputomi took down the Twitter to extend their greetings along, while taking down to Twitter mentioned that it is a special day that reminds us the need to fight against wildlife crimes and chart a path towards a sustainable future. While Power Department Advisor pledged to conserve the state's abundant flora and fauna and contribute richly towards protecting the whole ecosystem. Meanwhile, Tourism, Art and Culture Advisor mentioned that we must celebrate the abundance of the state's beautiful flora and fauna and raise awareness on the importance of its conservation. Nagaland Health and Family Welfare Minister S. Pangkyupom on Wednesday visited integrated Ayush Hospital at Raza Chedama of Kohima to inspect the preparation for the inauguration of the hospital. Furthermore, during the inspection, he appraised to speed up the work and complete at the earliest for the success of the program. Notably, the inauguration will take place on Friday at 11 a.m., whereby the inaugural guest will be Union Minister for Ayush, Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbananda Sonowal. District Disaster Management Authority in Kohima on Wednesday conducted a tabletop exercise on earthquake at the DCS Conference Hall, Kohima. During the exercise, Deputy Commissioner and Chairman DDMA Kohima, Grigory Tajawale, briefed the DDMA members. Notably, the exercise was held with all the concerned aligned relevant departments. It may be mentioned that the tabletop exercise on earthquake is being organized by DDMA Kohima in collaboration with Home Guards and Civil Defense and SDRF Kohima and 12 BN NDRF Kohima team. The 14th Sumi Hoho Trophy organized by Sumi Games and Sports Association was held at Suruhuto village on Wednesday. During the event, Minister for PhDs Jacob Zimomi graced in as the chief guest, while Advisor for Tourism, Art and Culture Kehovi Yaputomi hosted the trophy. Bharatiya Janata Party Manipur Pradesh on Wednesday, in a letter to the Chief Electoral Officer of Manipur, have demanded repolling at 23 polling stations over allegation of booth capturing, bogus voting and violence during the first phase of assembly election. Notably, the first phase of the Manipur Assembly polls for 38 seats in the 5 electoral districts of Imphal West, Imphal East, Bishnupur, Kangpokpi and Churachandpur were held, whereby the voters' turnout of 78.09% was recorded as per the Election Commission of India. Uttar Pradesh have started to cast their vote on Thursday in penultimate phase of the assembly election. Notably, a voter turnout of 21.79% was recorded till 11 a.m. It is to be mentioned that polling is being held for 57 assembly constituencies spread across 10 districts, which include Gorakhpur, Ambedkar Nagar, Balia, Balrampur, Basti, Deoria, and Kushinagar. Among others, a total of 2,14,62,816 electorates, including 1,14,63,113 males and 99,98,383 females, while 1,320 third gender are expected to exercise their franchise to decide the fate of 676 candidates. It may be noted that the polling for the 7th phase, which will be the last, will be held on March 7, while the counting of votes will take place on March 10. The English Premier League club captain will wear special armbands in Ukrainian colors to support and show solidarity for the people of Ukraine at all matches this weekend. Therefore, fans are encouraged to join players, managers, match officials and club staff in a moment of reflection and solidarity before kick-off at each game. A show of solidarity for Ukraine will be visible at all Premier League matches from March 5 to 7. Former India pacer Abhay Kuruvilla will be taking the charge as the new general manager of Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI. The general manager position was vacant after Dheeraj Malhotra stepped down. Kuruvilla was working as a National Selection Committee member and has played 10 tests for India, and his appointment was ratified during BCCI Apex Council meeting on Wednesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday began a post-budget webinar address on Make in India for the world with an aim to give greater focus to self-reliance when it comes to domestic production. Prime Minister said that we need to give focus on Make in India and that we need to manufacture sustainable and qualitative products. Notably, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry has organized the post-budget webinar. It is to be mentioned that the objective of the webinar is to sustain the momentum of Union Budget 2022 by synergizing efforts with all stakeholders on various initiatives taken for boosting manufacturing, increasing exports and strengthening the MSMEs. This is all for now. For more updates and information, keep watching Nagaland TV.